All right, everybody, it's Nash here, and it's time to talk some Texas Longhorn football ahead of the Baylor game. Now, before I say anything about Jonathon Brooks, because this is going to be a Jonathon Brooks video, I'm sure you saw by the title. I need to put a disclaimer out about Cedric Baxter because I know that before you go down the comment section and comment down below about, oh, you're being unfair to Cedric Baxter. You do. Look, Cedric Baxter is one heck of a back, one very talented running back. I am not saying anything negative about him whatsoever. I think that he is going to be a very good back for the University of Texas in 2023, as well as future years to come. But I just think that Jonathon Brooks deserves to get and has earned the lead role, and we're going to talk about that right now. So if you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then, hey, if you disagree, still, you can go ahead and you can comment down below. But I do not want to hear. I don't want to see anything acting like I'm sitting here being negative about Cedric Baxter, because I'm not. That is far from the case. Far from the case. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and let's hop right on into it. All right. So if you had watched my previous Jonathon Brooks video, and if you haven't, go ahead and go check that out after this video. I have a fairly it's a mild hot take video. No, it's a pretty hot one, scorching hot take. But I have a scorching hot take on Jonathon Brooks. And basically in that video, to really give you the too long didn't watch or too long didn't read, don't care, all that stuff. Jonathon Brooks, the percentage of times that he gets a 10-yard run or a 15-yard run or 10 plus or 15 plus yard run, it's a nice number to have. It's really nice. Like it borders on elite level stuff, and I'm trying to be very cautious when I say this stuff. The missed tackles force numbers, but yeah, even the missed tackles force numbers, when you get to the per rush basis, it's getting close to not getting close. It's getting close enough to the Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson numbers to actually go, hey, there's something there. There's something there, and we really need to pay attention to it. And a big gripe that you could have had, and I said, you know what, it's fair to have if you're doing this, because before the season, majority of the times that you saw something from Jonathon Brooks, it was because it was in garbage time. Majority of the time, if you saw a good run from him, it was a lot of garbage time stuff. There were very few times that you actually could point to a game and say, hey, Jonathon Brooks was in there, he was getting the ball, he was carrying the rock, and it was in meaningful snaps. There was very few times that you could do that. But at the same time, he showed enough in those games to go, you know what, there could be something there. And I think we're finding that out right now. I mean, you look at it this year, so far 67% of his yards have come after contact. He has 181 yards after contact out of 269 yards total. Now his yards his yards per attempt, it's dropped from the 6.8 and 6.6 numbers that you saw in the previous years, but hasn't dropped far. It's 5.7 right now. Now a lot of that is due to the Wyoming game, but I think that goes more to speak about a lack of committee backfield. When you let a guy get the lead get a good portion of the lead carries, and really define the ebb and flow of the game, I think that's when you start to see some of the results that you're going to see from Jonathon Brooks. That's like a Bijan Robinson. People were upset when the carries were split from Keontae Ingram and Bijan Robinson. I'm not calling Jonathon Brooks a Bijan Robinson, but I'm saying, hey, it's not far off from the same concept. If you remember the hot hand days, Kyle Hot Hand Porter over Chris Warren. Yes, Chris Warren is running 2, 4, 3 yards a carry right now. But those carries that aren't going, they may not look flashy early on, but they're the most important carries that a running back will have. Those are the carries that lead to the 12-yard carries, the 61-yard carries. That's what leads to those things. And again, I'm not saying not to use Cedric Baxter. I think Cedric Baxter needs to be our goal line back and our short yardage back. And I've been very consistent in saying that. I've been pounding the table on, I'm pounding it right now. He needs to be our goal line and short yardage back. I understand I just said all that good stuff about yards after contact. I still don't think Jonathon Brooks is that guy that's going to be able to, be a one. And I know he did get the Alabama goal line run, but I just think that that's an area that you're going to see more success from Cedric Baxter in than Jonathon Brooks. And just like I've been saying for Cedric Baxter, that's not me being negative about Jonathon Brooks. That's me being positive about Cedric Baxter. But back to being positive about Jonathon Brooks, you're seeing the same stuff. I mean, I had to go back and look at old videos to see if the data if there was a glitch in the PFF data or anything like that. But every single year that he's run so far, he has three runs of 15 plus yards or more. He has 5 runs of 10 plus yards or more. Now, the number of attempts, he had 21 attempts in 2021, 30 attempts in 2022, and he's had 47 so far. So the efficiency kind of is dropping down. But, I mean, you would expect that when you're not playing as much in garbage time. And the numbers are still at 5 runs, okay? That's still that's still hovering right around the 10% mark. If 10% of your runs are going for 10 plus yards or more, sign me up for that, please. Where do I sign? You can't get me to sign up for that fast enough. And another thing that goes to show about the committee backfield. Now, this is just very small sample size numbers, and I would need to actually go and gather much more data from much more running backs, and I might do it, but right now I'm not going to. I'm just going to look at what I have right now from this year, looking at Jonathon Brooks and Cedric Baxter. So in games where Jonathon Brooks split a backfield with Cedric Baxter, and he wasn't able to go out there and get a lion's share of the carries, you look at that, the last half of his runs, because what was I talking about earlier? I was saying that what happens, the most important runs are the runs early on where you're setting yourself up. You're setting up the later runs that go for 60 yards. You're setting up the later runs that goes for 12 yards, 20 yards, whatever it is. You're setting those yards up, or those runs up, with the short yardage runs early on. Well, last half of the runs versus Rice and Bama, again, split duties with Cedric Baxter. 47 yards, that's 43.1% of his yardage, came on the back half of his runs. You look at Wyoming, it's the opposite. When he was the lead back, and he got, hey, I'm getting most of the carries, I'm getting the lion's share. He got 107 yards. That makes up for 65.2% of his total yardage versus Wyoming. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. If you get rid of that 61-yard run, then yeah, you know what? It's almost the exact same as Rice versus Bama with split duties. But you can't just get rid of that. Because if you want to just go ahead and get rid of that run, well then why don't we just go ahead and get rid of the Cedric Baxter 37-yard rush that he had? A lot of the people that are sitting here pounding the table for Cedric Baxter over Jonathon Brooks, that's one of their big, they're hinging on that run that they saw. And also, I'll go to say the best ability for a football player is availability. I mean, that's been one of Devin Duvernay in the NFL. That's been one of his biggest strengths is the ability to be able. Hey, I'm available today, coach. I'm available today, coach. Like they talk about how, are you hurt or are you injured? Because coaches like guys that get hurt. They don't like guys that get injured. And a good example of a guy that gets hurt and doesn't get injured is Xavier Worthy. He frequently gets hurt, but you're not It's hard to tell when that dude has been injured or get hurt. Uh, but yeah, I think Jonathon Brooks with this last game, I think he's earned this lead back role. And with the stuff that you see from the breakaway yardage, the 10+ yard runs, I think that yes, this is something that you want to see from. And I just because I'm not sure if I'm re-talking about something right now, because I'm re-recording right after I just messed up, so I want to make sure I get it. I want to make sure I bring this up. If I'm talking about it over, just go ahead and skip over this. I'm sorry, and also the video's almost over. But breakaway yardage, you want to be hovering right around that 40% mark. You don't want to be too much. You don't want to be too little. Too much of your yardage coming from breakaway yards. You're relying on those. You're relying on breakaway yardage too much to get you yards, and too little. It's just a lot of tough sledding for you out there. He's right in that sweet spot that you want, that 40 to 50% sweet spot. And man, just so far what we're seeing from Jonathon Brooks, like the elusive rating, it's nothing amazing right now, nothing to write home about. But at the same time, hey, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a good number. And for those that don't know, it's 130.9. What does that number mean to you? It's a good number. That's all you need to know. I'm not gonna sit here and try and go through the weeds and all that stuff and all the numbers, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're in the weeds. But all right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. And let me reiterate again. This is not an anti-Cedric Baxter video. This is a positive Jonathon Brooks video. They're not mutually exclusive. All right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. Hook 'em!